dog new tricks. But I've learned it depends on what kind of dog you have. If your dog thinks, I'm limited, I'm lacking, I can't learn anything new, then that dog will get stuck. But if you have a dog that says, I'm well able, I'm equipped, empowered, nothing's too hard for me, that dog will learn new tricks. My message, make sure you're the right kind of dog. Are you stuck doing something the old-fashioned way because, like I did, you think you don't have the talent, the know-how, the ability to step into the new? Well, quit discounting yourself. You have what you need to live in this generation. Quit shrinking back. Don't let those excuses convince you that you are lacking. You're too old, too young, not up to speed, not up to par. God put in you what you need for this day. This is your time to shine. Get rid of those limiting excuses and stay open for new ideas, new ways to do things. The thing I love about my mom, she's 81 years old. She sends us kids group text all through the day. Most of them make sense. But I love the fact that she's not intimidated to learn something new. I'm just praying she doesn't discover Instagram. But seriously, when we keep making excuses, they become a crutch. That way we can justify why we're not where we're supposed to be. Well, they hurt me. They did me wrong. Now I have to use this self-pity crutch to hobble along. I've got a reason to be this way. Or my friend is more talented. They got the looks, the personality, so I've got to use this inferior crutch, this not up to par crutch. Or I made some mistakes in life, didn't raise my kids right, blew my relationship. That's why I'm using this regret crutch, this not up to par crutch. Every time you make an excuse, it's slowing you down. It's causing you to hobble. And the tragedy is some people spend their whole life on crutches. Don't let that be you. If you'll get rid of the excuses, believe that you have what it takes, trust God to make your wrongs right, then instead of hobbling, barely getting by, you'll keep stepping into new levels of your destiny. It's what a young lady did named Wilma. She was born prematurely back in the 1940s, the 20th of 22 children. When she was 4 years old, she developed polio in her left leg. It shriveled up so badly, the doctors told her parents she would probably never walk again. When other kids were out playing and having fun, she was at home, not able to walk. She spent 2 years bedridden. She could have thought, hey, this is my lot in life. I've had a bad break. Got a good reason to settle where I am. No, Wilma had this no excuses mentality. A caring doctor made her a special leg brace and a shoe. Against all odds, she learned how to walk. At 11 years of age, without her parents knowing it, she started taking off the brace, going out and playing with the other kids. She developed a great passion for running. Some days she'd go out and run for hours at a time. One day, a coach from Tennessee State University noticed how much she loved to run and how fast she was. He invited her to try out for the team. She not only made that team, but at 16 years old, she qualified for the 1956 Olympics, went on to win a bronze medal. 4 years later, in the 1960 Olympics, Wilma Rudolph won 3 gold medals, went on to become a national hero. That's what happens when you don't let self-pity become a crutch. You don't sit around thinking about what you didn't get, how you don't measure up. You'll beat the odds. God will get you to where you're supposed to be. We've all had bad breaks, things we don't understand. But if that was going to keep you from your destiny, God would have never permitted it. Don't let it become a crutch. Don't use it as an excuse to settle where you are. Do like Wilma, stir up what God's put on the inside. You'll go places that you never dreamed. In the scripture, there was a man that had been blind since his birth. Some people asked Jesus, why was he born this way? Whose fault was it, his or his parents? They wanted somebody to blame, an excuse, a reason. Jesus said to them, it's nobody's fault. He was born this way so that the goodness of God might be displayed in his life. Jesus touched his eyes and instantly he could see. When you have a bad break, a disadvantage, don't get stuck looking for someone or something to blame. You're not always going to understand why things happen in life. But if you'll stay in faith, it won't work against you, it will work for you. God will use it to show out in your life. But like these people, it's easy to want to blame the parents. It's their fault. That's why he's blind. Blame the man, blame the neighbor, blame a friend. All that's going to do is give you a reason to feel sorry for yourself. Before long, you'll have that crutch. But nothing that's happened to you is a surprise to God. You have to take the hand you've been dealt and make the most of it. May not have been fair, but God is fair. He is a God of justice. He sees every wrong that's been done to you, every hurt, every disadvantage. And if you won't let it become an excuse to get bitter, to have a chip on your shoulder, then God said He'll take that wrong and He'll turn it around and use it to your advantage. He will pay you back for the unfair things. See, people can't stop your destiny. What they said about you, what they did to you, how they tried to make you feel, doesn't have to affect you. The only power that has over you is the power that you give it. If you sit around nursing your wounds, thinking about the wrong, about how bad it was, that's going to become a crutch that will hold you back. But if you'll let it go, God will fight your battles. God will be your vindicator. We see this principle in the life of Joseph. He went through one unfair situation after another. His brothers betrayed him and sold him into slavery. He could have become bitter, thought, I've got a good excuse to live my life angry. He was lied about, falsely accused, and put in prison. Another excuse to have a chip on his shoulder. He spent years in that prison for something that he didn't do. He could have come up with excuse after excuse to settle where he was. But Joseph knew those excuses would become crutches that would keep him from his destiny. He had this no excuse mentality. He kept shaking off the disappointments, overlooking the offenses, doing the right thing when the wrong thing was happening. In the end, he came out vindicated, promoted, in a place of honor, prestige, influence. You may have had some bad breaks, things you don't understand, but don't get stuck looking back, reliving the negative. That is a distraction.